Hi, so I'm Ross Harvey. I'm currently working as a coach in the music industry, um, serving artists in the music industry as a human potential coach. So we work around topics like mindset, well-being, and performance so that these artists can have a sustainable career in music. This hasn't always been my main focus professionally. I've got a background in hospitality, which took me around the world working in places like Hong Kong, Barcelona, Dubai, and Singapore. And in all that time, while I was working in hospitality, I always had my own music career going on in the background where I was a performing MC, working in drum and bass. So I'm used to this kind of high energy lifestyle where I'm always on my feet, always on the go, surrounded by many, many people. And that's kind of my background that gives me the energy that I now bring into my coaching where I'm serving my people in the music industry. So I am an ICF certified coach to PCC level and also certified in group and team coaching, which means that I'm certified to work with people on a one-to-one level or even on bigger scale level in the groups and teams situation. So regarding inspiration to become a professional coach, it's interesting because this is something that I didn't actually set out to do at first. It was more of a case of I was going through a tricky patch in my own life with regard to many things that were challenging at the same time. For example, relationships, work, music, commitments, lack of sleep. I felt myself very low in energy when I really needed to be energized. And so at that point, I found myself a coach who I worked with for a period of at least 6 months. And in that time, I was able to just really realign my actions with my values, which is something that I'd never really thought about before. And in doing that, I was able to really turn my life around and focus on things that matter most to me, which meant that I got rid of habits and beliefs that didn't serve me anymore. I focus on just taking myself towards my best version, which is still a work in progress, as it always is, because there's always a next level. But this is something that really I found inspiring when I was working with this coach. Wow, this personal development journey that I started going on. I just wanted to know more and more. So I said to my coach, hey, tell me where you did your training because I wanted to apply all of that knowledge to myself just before I even thought about coaching anyone else. It was just like I wanted to absorb all of this knowledge, apply it to myself so that I can just become better and better and better. And feel good about myself, feel good about my life, and be a great person to be around. And so I did just that. I studied to become a human potential coach. And then in doing so, through practicing coaching on clients, I realized, wow, there's something really powerful here that I can use to make a difference and make an impact on people's lives, not just directly, but also through the lives of people that they are surrounded with and working with, like having a ripple effect on different communities. So this was massive. And when I realized that there was this potential here, that's when I thought, okay, I'm going to start taking this seriously, serving more people and just studying, studying, studying to be the best coach that I can be to make bigger difference and bigger impact on as large a scale as possible. So that's really how I got into this. It's not something I thought, oh, I want to be a coach. It just kind of formed organically. And the same thing with my music. There's a kind of pattern here because I didn't get into music thinking, oh, I want to be an MC or a DJ, something like that. It was just something that happened naturally where I started to do it and start to get a bit of response from people around me. And then it's passion that comes out where you think, wow, I'm really drawn to this profession. I really enjoy doing this, and I really think that I've got the potential to really make a difference here. So that's how I got into this. So when it comes to my coaching style, I've got a lot of different styles in my toolbox that I use during my sessions. It just depends on really what the client is going to bring to me. And in terms of the clients I work with, mainly they're in the music industry. They're either emerging artists, established artists, or elite artists. So I've got different packages that I use for different people depending on what kind of level they're at in the music game. Sometimes the clients I work with benefit more in a group setting because they can be inspired from those around them, and kind of help each other to stay accountable, motivate each other, and learn from each other. Other times I work with people who are more at a more advanced stage in their career. They might be touring and just need someone to stay in touch with to kind of keep them grounded while they're on the other side of the world and on tour so that they stay in shape mentally and physically because it can be very grueling, very demanding when you're away from home in these high pressure situations. Yeah, on the other side of the world, it can be very challenging when there's no routine, there's nothing to keep you grounded, flying from place to place, staying in hotels, just that it can be very challenging on the mind and the body. So that's where I kind of step in to provide that olive branch of support that just helps my artists that I work with to stay grounded, stay connected, and stay in tune with being their best self. Um, a lot of the techniques I use might involve somatic awareness, right? So this is where we really tap into the felt sensation within our body when we're going through situations. Because wow, the body is such a massive source of wisdom that a lot of people are unaware of because we spend so much time up in our minds thinking about things, thinking instead of feeling. And when we start to feel, and we really tune into that inner wisdom, that's that somatic awareness, that sense of energy that's either moving around somewhere within our body or it's trapped and it's trying to communicate to us in a way that we don't know if we're just thinking about things in our head. But when we really tune into this felt sensation within the body, we can pay attention to these small little nuances of what our body could be trying to communicate to us in this situation and how we're going to work around them or how we're going to use that to our advantage. Um, a lot of the work we do as well will involve visualizations. This is a very powerful part of the coaching that I do, especially in the music industry where clients that I work with feel stuck. They feel stuck. They feel like they're never going to progress. They're never going to get out of the bedroom and start playing in clubs, or they're not going to get out of the level of clubs they play at and start playing at festivals. So when we start to visualize how it must be to live that life where you're able to step into the big arena and perform on these big shows, it starts to become more kind of believable as a reality. You start to be able to feel that, hey, this might be possible. I might be able to achieve this. And there have been occasions where I've worked with people who have been in that kind of stuck mindset as to, oh, I'm never going to progress further than my little circuit in this part of the country. But now they've overcome that and they're smashing it on big arena tours with very large artists, you know? So when you see that they actually get the results from doing this work, that's super, super inspiring. That's something that, I really walk away feeling proud of these individuals for changing their mindset, for believing in themselves, for visualizing themselves achieving these goals, and then going out and accomplishing them. Nothing makes me prouder to see my clients walk away with these big wins. So being a professional coach is meaningful in many ways to me. But the most meaningful way I would say is just seeing people start to believe in themselves again. This is one thing that happens time and time again, when I'm working with clients. It's like they might come to me with a real lack of self-belief or almost deflated kind of energy. And I feel that it makes me so sad to see so many people going through life like this, to be honest. So many people are going away and they're not achieving their highest potential, or not even coming anywhere close because at the very first hurdle, they stop or they get set back because of their self-belief. And it's just like, yeah, I don't believe in myself, or I'm not good enough. I can never do that. Well, yeah, I won't be able to achieve this. And if that's the message that you're sending yourself, that's going to become your reality. And if that's your reality, that's what you feel. And when you take action, your actions are never going to come to anything because you already don't believe you're going to succeed. So when we do the work with clients and they're able to get a breakthrough to help them to see, hey, maybe I can do this. That's the first step. Maybe I can. Maybe I should stop being so hard on myself. maybe I should give this a go. When we do the work on that and we start to send these signals to the brain that, hey, this is actually possible, this is something that we can start to feel, we can start to make steps towards achieving and really believe that it's going to happen, that's when we start to get positive results. And to me, as a coach, this is one of the most meaningful things because it's the power of self-belief, right? And if we're not tuned into that and we don't train it for time after time, it can start to dissipate. So it's something that's a work in progress. But I believe that everyone has got the power and the ability within themselves to be able to make a change and turn around this negative self-talk to something a little bit more neutral or more positive in order to start making big progress and make a difference in our own lives. So yeah, in terms of coaching, one of the most meaningful things to me is to help people to get this self-belief so that they can overcome obstacles and be the best version of themselves that they can be. So the thing I love about coaching is that it's not always about working with people who've got problems. You can work with someone who is already a high performer and they want to be a little bit better. They want to be a better version of themselves. And I always liken this to the computer game scenario, right? Every level, you get to the end of the level and there's a big boss standing there at the end of the level. Then you do the work, you beat the big boss. Then what happens? Next level, another big boss. And it keeps going on till you complete the game. Then a few months later, a couple of years later, they release a new game and there's new big bosses all the way along. And to me, that's what life is like as well. We're never going to get to a plateau where everything is great. More success brings more problems, therefore, all more challenges, right? More developmental opportunities, as we like to say. So, the thing I love about coaching is there's always more to learn. There's always more work to be done. So, this is something we can all apply in our own lives. And I believe that this has really helped me to develop personally, because recently in the last few years, I've become a father. And I apply these kind of techniques just to encourage my kids to be the best they can and just to motivate them to believe in themselves and to understand that life is going to come with challenges. There's going to be times when things are hard. There's going to be times when we are sad or we're angry or frustrated, and that's okay. That's absolutely normal. That's just a part of life. So let's not pretend things aren't going to be difficult, because they absolutely are. So let's welcome these challenges because they're just bumps in the road. They're all part of the journey. So I think that becoming a coach has helped to enrich my life in many ways out of the coaching profession, personally as well, especially with regards to my family and bringing up two young children. Okay. So if someone is interested in working with me, there's a couple of first steps they may be able to take. First of all, if you see me in person, come up, say hi, let's get talking. This is my favorite one. I love to network in person. So if you see me in a club or at an event, come and say hi and let's get talking. Other than that, you can contact me on my social media pages or by email. I'm very welcoming and encourage people to come forward and have a conversation. Even if you're not sure if coaching might be for you or not, let's just have that chat anyway and see where we can take it. If we think that is something we would like to explore a little bit further, I'll invite you onto a discovery call where you'll be able to get a little bit of a feel for what it's like to coach with me. First of all, we'll have a talk about where you're at right now, what your current challenges are, why we're actually on the call right now, and we'll see what we can do regarding moving on for the future. If we feel that we're a good fit, if I see that you're committed, because this is a big thing. If you're not committed and I don't see that you're committed, now's not the time for coaching. But if I do see that you are committed, you're willing to take this further and do the work, then we'll talk about next steps and we'll talk about potentially creating a coaching engagement together. Okay, so aside from coaching, there are a couple of other services that I offer to my clients working in the music industry because I feel that there's a huge lack of support in the industry regarding mental health. So I've got myself certified as a mental health first aider just so that I'm aware of some of the challenges that artists face in this music game, right? From stress, anxiety, depression, dependency on drugs to, even much more serious things like, oh, sorry, looks, I got it a little bit twisted. Then I might need to start again that one. Okay, so as I work in the music industry as a coach, I kind of took it upon myself to do a little bit more training regarding the mental health side of things because I feel that there's not enough support for artists surrounding their mental health. So I'm not a trained therapist or a psychotherapist at the moment, but I am certified as a mental health first aider, which just gives me the skills and techniques needed in order to support my artists with regard to their mental health, right? So they might be suffering from something like stress, anxiety before the show, depression, dependency. If it's something way more serious than that, then I'll be able to refer them to the appropriate professionals who are going to be able to really give them the support that they need. But I feel that it's important that I've got an understanding of basic mental health first aid just to be there as a first point of contact in order to either support them if I can or refer them to someone else. So what we do, I offer a mental health MOT to all of the people that I work with, where they can just check in on themselves, see how they're feeling today, right? How are you feeling in terms of levels of stress? How is your mood today? Because sometimes we're so wrapped up in our hectic lifestyles. We're so on the move from one place to the next, deadlines, social media requirements, commitments, gigs, traveling around, that we forget to check in on ourselves. And those are the times when if we don't do a check-in, it's very likely that the wheels are going to start to wobble or in some cases fall off. So by providing this check-in, it gives us an opportunity to really see how we are feeling today. And if we're not feeling on point, what can we do to remedy that so that we are able to start thriving again? Because essentially what I want from for all of my clients, everyone I work with, is to have as long and a sustainable career in the music industry as possible. And if we're not doing regular check-ins, we're not checking on the state of our health physically and mentally, then there's a big risk that this is not going to be a sustainable career. If we have a quick rise to fame, the fall back down is going to be even quicker in many circumstances if there's no stability. So this is a real big, important part of the work I do, is just checking in and making sure that there is that support for artists. They may go to the club, the promoter will say, right, what do you want? You want your champagne, you want your beers, this, that, and the other. But how many times does a promoter offer an artist a coach, someone to check in and sit down with for half an hour, 45 minutes before or after the gig, just to check in how they're feeling, how's their mental health, what would help them to make a really memorable performance today? Is there a focus on that, or is the focus more on the partying kind of side of things? That's something that I'm really working towards changing because I think that the music industry needs this. It needs more coaches, needs more therapists, it needs more support for the mental and physical well-being of the artists because it's something that's been massively overlooked. And quite frankly, we won't stand for that any longer. It's time to support these artists so that we can make their careers more sustainable in the music industry. So, if someone is considering working with a professional coach, yeah, my idea would be my advice would be absolutely go for it, but do your homework first of all. Find out what that coach offers just to make sure that it's a good match for you. Because coaching doesn't come cheap, and you want to make sure that you're investing in the right person for your success. Essentially, that's what it's about. It's about when you make that investment, make sure that you are investing in the right person who is going to help you. So you could do a credential check, make sure that they've got the credentials that you like. That not only protects yourself as the client, but also protects the coach, and if if they think that they're providing a service that maybe is slightly unethical or something like that, if you think it's unethical, you can be able to report them to the relevant authority in order for them to take the next steps, right? So working with someone who is credentialed, especially to someone like the ICF, protects the client and also protects the coach, right? So you know that when you're investing in someone who's credentialed like that, you're investing in quality service as well. But also, yeah, do some kind of background work. Discover what coach is right for you. You may also consider. I'm doing my best to push coaching profession right now, but sometimes you might need a mentor, you might need a therapist more than you actually need a coach. So just make sure that you're investing in the right person for you. I had someone come to me the other day. She was like torn between therapy, coaching, and mentoring. Maybe there's an overlap required, and I know many people that do work with different combinations of such people. But just really, I would suggest find out what is the best thing for you at this time and then go for it and then commit to doing the work because as good as a coach may be, the heavy lifting takes part in between the sessions, right? The magic may take place in the session, but it's down to you as the individual to start putting these steps into place and actually making a difference yourself by doing the work. So as long as you're committed, invest in yourself and go for it. Okay, so I remember coming about Ignite Global online. I think it was through LinkedIn actually. And it was about the time when I had just finished my first coaching certification with another coaching organization, and I was looking to boost my hours of coach training so that I could work towards my first ACC certificate with the ICF. And Ignite I saw offered a kind of peer-to-peer coaching scheme where you work with other coaches and you coach each other in reciprocal coaching, and through that, that's how I came across Ignite. So I guess after doing that first reciprocal coaching session and those group of sessions, I was then in the loop and I started getting the Ignite emails and they were feeding me information about all the opportunities there were to work with them and develop professionally with Ignite. So yeah, my first step was in the reciprocal coaching, and then I became part of the web of information, and that's how it all began. Really, my whole experience with Ignite Global had been fantastic. I felt supported the whole way throughout my training. I felt that if at any time I've got a question, I can always send an email and I know I'm going to get a detailed answer in response. I've never been left in the dark regarding any doubts or any kind of cloudy information that I wasn't sure about. Everything has been transparent. Everything has been very, very clear. And I've progressed through a couple of courses now and got fantastic outcomes. So really, I cannot fault Ignite at all. It has been absolutely very influential to my professional development, and I look forward to continuing on this journey with Ignite into the future. So Fernando's such a friendly, down-to-earth guy. He's so patient as well. There have been times during some of our sessions where people might ask the same question multiple times. And as we're in a group setting, we have to wait until the whole group really understands before we can move on. So we have to be patient. But Fernando has demonstrated a very, very high level of being patient with such students. Also in a way where he's able to explain things again. And if we don't get it, he'll explain it in a slightly different way, just until it really drops. We recently completed a professional coaching mastery certificate in group and team coaching. And at first, when looking at the content and the material for the course, the outline, to be very honest with you, it went right over my head. I didn't get it. And even though Fernando would explain again and again and again, it took a good two, maybe three sessions before all the pieces really started to connect and everything made perfect sense. And I can see that Fernando had been explaining it clearly since the very beginning. However, there are so many different components of this course that it's totally normal that it will go over your head the first couple of times you try to digest the information. Um, but it all became very, very clear. And we always get given the notes at the end of the sessions, the slides, so that we can go back, review what we've learned, review what we've done, and then we can start to look at the pieces of the puzzle ourselves and see how everything is absolutely interconnected. So yeah, Fernando, such a great guy in terms of his ability to explain things, also for the way that he makes everyone feel welcome and part of the group, right? He creates this great psychological safety where we all know that we can be vulnerable, we can show up as our most authentic self, even if we don't feel good, you know? We feel however we feel, and that's okay. And Fernando really makes us feel that it's okay to feel however we feel. Just yeah, very, very supportive. I feel that he's the true backbone of this business, and it's been a real pleasure to work with Fernando through these last few years. I feel that the program's content is very detailed, and I love the way that after the sessions we're able to look at the slides for ourselves to kind of go over, to study in our own time, and to make sense of everything to really hit home the message that we've received during the sessions. In terms of delivery, the timings are fantastic. It's always nicely paced out so that it allows plenty of time for conversation, plenty of time for questions, plenty of time for practice. But at the same time, we walk away with a lot of value from the sessions. This is guaranteed, and this is something I really felt, despite the fact that it's not heavy in terms of non-stop the student being bombarded by content, which is fantastic because it's not all about the content, it's about putting things into practice and discussing. So the sessions really did allow us plenty of time to really do the learning and to discuss and to go into detail so that we walk away every single time feeling that we've got some serious value from the sessions. So my most recent program was the group and team coaching program. And for me, the biggest transformation was when I started my own small group coaching program. So it was, as a coach, I got together a group of individuals and we started to do weekly sessions in a group setting. And after about 2 or 3 sessions, I remember one of my clients that I was working with had a powerful, powerful breakthrough. And he put it all down to the fact that we were doing these group coaching sessions. And this guy was so grateful. He was absolutely gushing, beaming with gratitude for the breakthrough that he had had through this group coaching session. And for me as a coach, this was super empowering and super motivating because I'd only done 3 or 4 sessions as a group coach, but already seeing the impact that this had on the people that I was working with. So for me, that obviously gave me a lot of confidence in my coaching and it gave me more of a desire to really pursue this path of group coaching because I saw the value straight away. So in terms of transformation for me, that was really a catalyst that fortified what I already knew that yes, we've got the skills for coaching here, but to actually see it being felt and being experienced by those that I was working with was massive for me. So that was my biggest transformation, definitely. That sorry, sorry.
Sorry.
Can I ask you a question? So I was really grateful for being able to study on my most recent course with such a diverse group of individuals from all over the world. And when it's called Ignite Global, it really is Ignite Global because I'm pretty sure we had people from every continent on the globe on our last cohort, which were just amazing because everyone's got their own views, they've got their own life experience they can bring to the table. So we're able to really get an understanding of how life is viewed through the eyes of individuals on the other side of the world who don't look like us. They probably eat different food from us. They have different customs, different habits from us, but we're all coaches. And that's the beauty of it. Everyone's able to make an impact. Everyone's able to learn from each other and grow together. So it was really beautiful to be a part of a group that was so diverse. And I hope that in the future, any group I'm on will be just as diverse as this as well, because it's really an opportunity to celebrate the fact that we come from so many different backgrounds. I think that's a really beautiful thing. So I would definitely recommend Ignite Global to any aspiring coaches who are still on their journey to becoming the best coach they can be. They're still determined to get new certifications on their journey and continue with their professional development. Basically, the main thing I would say about Ignite Global is that once you're a part of it, you get so much support, and that support is unwavering, right? Any questions you have, they're going to help you, um, from knowledge of the content to the certification process with ICF to the exam with ICF. They're always there to back you up, to support you, to offer you tools, to offer you resources, guidance, and step-by-step guide on how to achieve anything that you want to accomplish. So I've already recommended Ignite to peers in the coaching industry, and I will continue to do so because my experience has been so powerful. So if you're an aspiring professional coach, I would just say, please stay committed to being the best coach that you can be. Do this for the right reasons. Know that you're able to make a difference. And Ignite, if you do step on the pathway to success through Ignite Global, understand that they're going to have your back every step of the way and do all they can to make sure that you achieve all of your professional goals.